Hello, my name is Abel Sanchez. In this lesson, we're going to be writing our first little bit of JavaScript. We will call it JavaScript Hello World. Up until this point, we have been writing static content. But in this lesson, we will make the connection between JavaScript and the HTML syntax in the page. To begin with, I have a simple page here which has a couple of tags, HTML and a body tag. I'm going to go ahead and add a tag for a button. This is the way you denote a button. You say type, then you type button. You give it a value. This is what you will see on the screen. I'm going to say display greeting. And at this point, we can already see this button within the page. I'm going to go ahead and load the page here, and you can see that I have a button. However, this button is not connected to anything. It's just a button that we've defined on the page. So let's go ahead and add one more attribute. This attribute says on click, do something. In this case, what we're going to do is we're going to call a JavaScript function called greeting. Okay? Now, we haven't written that function, so we're going to go ahead and write our first bit of JavaScript. Now, you can write JavaScript within the head of the file or within the body. In this case, we're going to do it within the head. And the way you let the browser know that what's following, the next block that you will see is JavaScript, is you type the keyword or the tag called script. Now, you don't need this extra part. This is for legacy browsers, so we will go ahead and delete that part. Now, inside of it, we need to write the greeting function that we have specified on click. So I'm going to go ahead and write a function called greeting. I'm going to go ahead and define within the block of the function an alert. This is part of the JavaScript language, and whatever you write inside of the quotes will be displayed to the person pressing that button. Okay, now let's go over what we have done. We have added a button. We have added an attribute called onClick, which calls a function called greeting. We have defined that function called greeting within a script block in the head of the file. And we're now ready to go ahead and test it within the browser. Now let me go ahead and reload that page. And if everything goes well, we should see a pop-up in a moment. Hey, there it is. JavaScript alert, hello world. Okay, let's go ahead and go back to the file and just call out what we did. We created an HTML file like we had before. We added an input element, which was a button. In that button, we added an onClick attribute in which we defined the call to the greeting function. We then wrote a JavaScript block, which within it had a function called greeting. And inside of the function, there is an alert, which creates a pop-up, and we wrote in hello world. Now, there's several pieces coming together here. This is an important lesson to understand. Make sure you take this code and you write some examples for yourself. You modify it in a few different ways. Play with it. Make sure you feel comfortable. And this should be some great fun. So with that, let me thank you for your attention and say goodbye.